Okay, on today's review, this is going to be almost exactly like tomorrow's test. If you don't know how to do one of these problems, make sure that you ask for help. I am not going to give you any of these answers. You need to put your answers in Schoology. But I am going to show you how to do some of these. So for instance, problem number 1. They gave you the equation that can be put in Desmos. Okay? And they told you that t is the time, so that's your x, and it's asking what happened after 15 seconds. So there's two ways you can do this. When you put it in Desmos, you can either type h of 15. Where's my h? You can do h of 15 just like this. Or, pay attention, you can open the settings up and the table. So you can use the table for almost all the problems today and then just type 15 at the bottom. Okay? Sometimes you're going to type the number that they gave you. Sometimes you're going to type the answer choices. It doesn't matter. Problem number 2. Actually, problem number 5. It says which one has the positive 0. So remember, these are zeros, and they're asking for the positive one. Which one is the positive one? Problem 2. Same thing. They gave you an equation that you can put in Desmos, and they want to know which one equals to 0. Which one of these equals to 0? So you're going to type it in Desmos and go look for which one of these gives you 0 equal to 0. So for instance, on a table, it would look like this. Or on a graph, it would look like this. Those are my zeros. Those are the ones that give me 0. Okay, so find which one does that. Problem 3, same thing. They give you an equation, but now they want to know which one gives you a total of 477. So which one of these gives you a total of 477? That doesn't mean you're typing 477 on the X. That means that on your table, it's going to look like this. Okay? Which one gives you that? ¿Cuál te da 477? So you can type all the answer choices and figure it out. All right, right here, I would type this in Desmos and see which one gives me 0. So it's asking for the negative solution. So when you do it, they're asking for the negative one, not the positive one. Okay? And then the last one, if you want, oh no, that's not the last one. On this one, you can move it over, change the sign, so it becomes 3 parentheses x plus 5, close parentheses square, minus 48, and see which one gives you 0. So my zeros, I'm looking for these things. Okay, so pause the video, do some of those problems, and then I'll continue in just a little bit to do the other problems. Okay, really quickly, I just saw a mistake. On your paper, it says 28. It needs to be 48. 48. So change the 28 to a 48 because in Schoology, the problem says 48, not 28. Okay? There was a problem on your paper. It said 28. It's supposed to be 48. Es 48, no 28. Same thing for problem number 6. On your paper, it says positive. Change it to negative because in Schoology, it says negative. Okay, I'm looking for the negative one, not the positive one. Okay, make sure that you're following with the video and whatever I have on my paper is the correct version. And when you do it in Schoology, that's the correct version. So if there's something like right here, number 7, it's supposed to say plus 5, not... on your paper it says minus 3, and then in the front it says 7. So make sure that you change it to this problem, and don't use the one that you have on yours. All right, number 8, same thing. You're going to type it like this, and then you're going to ask for g of negative 5, or you can look in the table for negative 5 on the x, and what does it give you on the y? Thank you, Angel. Problem number 4. What is the solution? So we're going to type this in Desmos. We're going to look for our zeros. Okay? And then we're going to type all these answer choices and see what they give us. Make sure that you're typing the plus and the minus. And it has to give you this right here. So for instance, let's start typing it in Desmos. Where's my... So right here we have 4x squared minus 9x plus 3. Look at the zeros, and we need one of the answer choices to give us that. So when I start typing answer choices, letter A, start with division. On top you're going to put 9 plus the square root of negative 48, and on bottom you're going to put 8, and then see what it gives you. This is not the correct answer because it didn't give me those two numbers. Okay? Even if I change this to a minus, it's still not going to give me the same thing. So make sure you type all of those in Desmos. All right, problem 9 and 11 are the same. So I'm going to do one, you do the other one. Okay? So it says, which statement about this equation is true? So they're asking you for the zeros and the factors. The zeros and the factors. So once you find the zeros, you can eliminate some and then figure out what the factors are. So I'm going to type this in Desmos, as should you. So everybody's typing it in Desmos right now. We have the equation that says k of x, which you don't have to type, negative x squared minus 9x plus 36. Here's my 0, and here's my other 0. Positive 3, negative 12. Let's go look at our paper. Positive 3, negative 12. I'm going to change colors. Positive 3, negative 12. No. Positive 3, no. Positive 3, negative 12, no. Positive 3, negative 12, yes. Let's say you have two answers that are the same. Then you would have to type this and see if it's equivalent to that. They need to be equivalent. Write this down. They need to match. They need to be the same. Okay, when you graph both equations, they need to be exactly the same. So that's what you're going to do for problem number 11. On problem number 10, they're asking you, where did Albert mess up? This is not the answer. Okay? That's not the answer. So where, step 1, step 2, step 3, or step 4, did he make a mistake? Right? So when I have the equation 2x squared minus 3x equals 16, what's the first thing you do? Move. You have to move the 16 over and do what? Change the sign. So it becomes negative, right? So Albert should have said, okay, it's 2x squared minus 3x minus 16 equals 0. So when I do quadratic formula, my A is 2, my B is negative 3, my C is negative 12. A is 2, check. B is negative 3, check. C is negative 16, check. Yours is wrong. You need to change number 10. C should be negative 16, right? So he did not mess up in step 1. Tienes que cambiar esto. Change it. It's supposed to be a negative. Then when you put it in the formula says negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So there should be a negative on the outside. This is your b. That's negative 3, correct. This is b, check. minus 4 times 2, check, times negative 16, check, 2 times a, check. All of that is correct. So step 2 is correct. Step 3, okay, when I do negative times a negative is a positive, check. Type all of this in Desmos and see if it gives you this. Because the bottom is correct. 2 times 2 is 4, check. So we're checking this part, type all of that in Desmos and see if it's correct or not. Negative 3 squared. So right here I have negative 3 parentheses squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 16. So we didn't get the same thing. This is supposed to be positive 137, and Albert put negative 119. So Albert messed up right here. Okay? And then problem 12. You're going to move this over, change the sign. So it's x squared plus 21x plus 68 equals 0. And we're looking for the solutions right there. Okay, so finish all of this. Put the answers on here. Put the answers in Schoology. Make sure that you study. If you get 100 on this test, you will have 100 for the progress report in Algebra 1. Okay? So you need to really try hard. And don't ask me any questions tomorrow. Ask me the questions today.